This is Marissa Knodel, sitting in for Ira Glass, and this is This American Convict from American Public Media. The day was August 1st, 2006, a birthday party on a warm summer afternoon in South Reading, Vermont. There was ham and baby Swiss and alcohol, maybe too much alcohol. A birthday party gone wrong.
Yeah, Carl and Matt been best friends since grammar school.
That's Ernie, Carl Ackley's brother. He went to Mr. Stevens' house to help celebrate Mr. Ackley's birthday that afternoon in August.
That was a great party. I mean, there was food, booze, pot. We were just hanging out, having a good old time. We left around 6:30 and everything seemed fine.
Oh, Carl, he would come over all the time. He and Matt have been best friends for a long time. He can get aggressive when he's drunk. So, once everyone besides Carl left, I decided to watch a movie and try to go to sleep. I heard them talking in the backyard where we've been eating and drinking, but then I fell asleep.
That's Deborah Marcotte, Matthew Stevens' girlfriend. He said she was the only woman he ever loved enough to buy a diamond for. Little did she know that while she was sleeping, she became the unwitting cause of a not-so-friendly dispute.
He was my best friend. I'd done so much for him. Bought him ground chuck for the burgers and everything. Then he started talking about Deborah. Said he would fight me for her. He said he loved her, but I love her. I even bought her a diamond. He'd been smoking. He was hungry. The hamburger just wasn't done to his liking. He said I should have known how he liked it, because Deborah knew how he liked it. He said he was sick of living in the church, and he could make Deborah happier. He said that once I was gone, he was going to move in and take my place. Then he started coming at me with the bread knife we'd used to cut the buns. I told him to leave, but he kept walking towards me. He cornered me and backed me up in front of the house. He tripped on something, so I ran into the house to grab the gun, just to scare him. When I came back out, though, he was waiting for me at the bottom of the steps. He lunged at me with the bread knife, pointed directly at my jugular. Fearing my life, I went to hit him with the gun.
Oh, okay. The type of pistol that Mr. Stevens used was a .357 Magnum. 357 Magnum takes two different kinds of ammunition, either .38 Special or the .357 Magnum ammunition. Both types of ammunition were found on the site. There are two types of .357 Magnums, one of which would require to be previously cocked before it would actually fire. The other could be fired from an uncocked position, but it would be more difficult to do so. However, in a struggle such as this, it would be possible, especially given the level of intoxication of both the individuals. Now, given the enormous volume of facts provided to us, the really only determinable thing I can tell you is that a struggle occurred.
That's our ballistics expert. Back to Matthew Stevens.
Ackley tried to grab the gun out of my hand, and during the struggle it went off. I jerked my hand back, and the gun went off a second time, and then he dropped to the ground.
There is a distinct difference between moral guilt and legal guilt. Mr. Stevens' shocked reaction to what happened, calling himself a murderer, repeating I killed my best friend and it was a mistake, were born from the extreme emotional distress that he was under at the time and are not in any way indicative of any particular crime.
That's our criminal psychologist. Now, back to Matthew Stevens.
I couldn't believe I just shot my best friend. I was beside myself. Deborah's gonna think I was a murderer, I thought. I was just trying to protect myself and my sleeping beauty. I love her. I told her to call 911, and then I checked on Carl to see if he was alive. He was cold as ice and he wasn't breathing. I got scared. I wanted to make sure Deborah was provided for if I went to prison. So I wrote a note so everyone would know I was leaving all my belongings to her. It was the only thing I could do.
The police came soon after. Stevens went with them willingly. While in prison, Stevens continued to write Deborah letters, telling her that he was only trying to protect her and that he loved her. In researching this tragic love story, we consulted a legal expert.
A killing may be justified when a person acts in reasonable self-defense, and as therefore it's not a crime. Mr. Stevens had a right to defend himself when Mr. Ackley attacked him with a bread knife because he reasonably believed he was in imminent danger of being killed, or suffering from serious bodily harm. Mr. Stevens knew Mr. Ackley had a violent nature, especially when fueled by intoxicating substances. The amount of force Mr. Stevens used, well, he went to strike him in the head and was a proportional response to Mr. Ackley's attack.
So, what is the moral of Stevens' story? People do crazy things for love. Oh, and P.S. He's not guilty.